Gemini, the twins. Now, a lot of my friends are Gemini, and this one's probably going to be the most point blank obvious. And I'll be honest with you, I'm very, very cautious of Gemini myself. You'll understand soon. So, Gemini, positive traits include curious. Now, a lot of my friends that are Gemini, one in particular, always climbs trees, always has to be somewhere where he's not supposed to be, always has to look into things that he's not supposed to. As you can imagine, curiosity killed the cat gets people into trouble. Another positive trait is broad-minded. They like to keep open to different things. Again, my friend who's a Gemini, he does all sorts of different things. He tried free running, he bought a trampoline and started using that. He goes around doing different things in different bands. He's got so many different interests and such, and he lets different bits of life come in. He doesn't hold any specific beliefs, so he accepts all beliefs and understands them to his more ability. Another positive trait, they have a very, very young outlook, so you tend to see things in a sort of like childlike mind, not as a bad thing, but as a good thing, like when a child is interested in, say, what a mother is cooking, they'd be like, what are you cooking? How do you do that? How do you do this? And thus getting deeper, which also links in with curiosity. Another personality trait which is positive, very inventive. They'll try and find ways around things. I'll go back to my friend who had the trampoline. One day the trampoline broke, and so the poles were all over the place, and he decided, I'm going to fix this. Me thinking to myself, how's he going to do this? So he got some wood, he got some haywire. This will probably link in later, because he's a bit mental, not in a bad way. So yeah, as I was saying, I was fixing his trampoline, put this wood on where the pole had snapped, and tied it up. Believe it or not, that trampoline actually held out quite well after that. So such a quick inventive idea, as many in general Gemini will show you, is quite useful. Another personality trait that's positively Gemini, fast and stimulating. Now, one of my friends is a compulsive liar, who's a Gemini. He lies all the time, he's quick about it, very, very quick, and his lies are so obvious that you just have to laugh. Really. And that's another thing you have to think about. When they come out with things, it's usually quick. Not always the right thing, but it's quick. And it's also witty. And as I say again, not always the right thing. When I went out with a Gemini, she was very, very quick to say things, quick to judge. And she kept on complaining, saying that I was disrespecting her beliefs. Which isn't true, though it seemed as though it was. So as you can see, quick to do on things, and not always the correct thing to do. A negative aspect of the Gemini, easily bored. Give them 5 minutes, not doing anything, and they'll get up and start running about or something silly. One of my friends who's a Gemini, who I told you about, just free running and all that, he can't sit still, at all. You can't tell him to sit down and do something, he'll just get up and do something else. Another friend that's a Gemini, he has to do something, he's very, very nerdy, but he has to do something on that sort of lines. If he's not doing anything like playing a game on the console or, say, playing Dungeons and Dragons, he gets bored, and usually that ends up a lot of phone calls to a lot of different friends. Another negative aspect of the Gemini, impatient and moody. Well, that gets in with the easily bored sort of like momentum. If they're bored, they'll get impatient and they'll start to do things whether you like it or not, when they get very moody. When I went out with the Gemini, she was very moody. Always complained about the simplest things, like just poke her for a little joke and a laugh, and she'd probably get so pissed off saying, you're gonna bruise me, you're gonna bruise me. And it's like, it's really, really strange how moody they can be. Another negative aspect, anxious. One of my Gemini friends always complains and panics, always having panic attacks, scared about everything, things going wrong, and worrying about the fact that you can't control things. It's currently with this woman, they're going along pretty well, but the lass is suicidal, so as you can imagine, things can get pretty hot through that. And he himself becomes quite distraught. That's quite common in most Geminis. Don't worry about that, just deal with it in the most kindest way possible. Another negative aspect of the Gemini, which I don't think is particularly negative, is the dual personality. They tend to have two faces. I think that's obviously due to the fact Gemini is sent as the twins, so I'd say that is quite possible to be a huge part of their life. One of my friends, the compulsive liar, he obviously has his compulsive lying side, and believe it or not, he has his very, very charming side. It's enough to make you think he's a sociopath, but he's not. He's generally a nice guy. He just has compulsive lying and a charm that's incredibly amazing. Another one of my Gemini friends, he has a bit of a problem with staying in one situation. He'll start in one situation, then he'll suddenly say, I don't like this, despite the fact that he was doing it because he wanted to. So, as you can imagine, that can be quite problematic when it comes to the Gemini. And another negative aspect of a Gemini, they tend to like to gossip a bit and get people into trouble. They do come in with a lot of gossip. They do speak their mind quite a lot, but with any gossip, how do you know whether it's going to be fully true or not? It's impossible, really, isn't it, unless you get the evidence. Anyway, that's the Gemini done.